Almost on a daily basis, I'm told by men how most Filipinas are only out to get what they can from a foreign guy. They'll either tell me of an experience they've had, or tell me of a story they've heard from somebody else. And no doubt there are plenty of stories out there of guys who have been the victim of a love scam by a Filipina. But really, who is to blame here? The Filipina for committing the love scam, or the foreigner for allowing himself to get into that position? To me, the answer is rather simple, and one I know some will disagree with, so stay with me here. Just quickly, if you're enjoying our channel, feel free to subscribe for all future videos. The way I look at this is, if a man knows fully well that in a developing country such as the Philippines, where there are large amounts of poverty, then some women there are certainly looking for ways to have a more comfortable lifestyle. Simply, this is no secret, and clearly men are very aware of the many love scams because they all tell me so. So if a foreign man is aware that these things can happen, why are so many apparently being taken for a ride by a Filipina? To me, this is not rocket science and extremely easy to avoid happening. Why is it that when I was looking for a Filipina to share my life with back in 2013 that I never got scammed? And why is it that I know of so many other men who did likewise and also never got scammed? Let me start off by saying that I certainly don't condone any woman anywhere in the world for deliberately setting out to pretend to love a man in order to get money from him. And yes, the Philippines is not unique in this situation. Usually these women will be young and very attractive, and they specifically target older, lonely and more vulnerable foreign men. As I say, I don't condone the behaviour, but I do have some understanding of what desperation to survive can make some people do. But that aside, I do wonder just how many of these supposed love scam stories we hear about are true. Is it just possible that many of these men have been in a relationship with a Filipina only for the Filipina to realise he wasn't the man she thought he was or he would be, and so finish the relationship much in the same way relationships all over the world may end? And so the man that's been hurt decides to tell everyone that he was a victim of a love scam in order to save face and embarrassment. And I say embarrassment because this man has broken several basic rules of common sense that he now realises when he looks back. But he doesn't want to take on the responsibility for his recklessness that has got him into this position, and now he cries that he's been scammed. And what things did he fail to do from the outset that led him into either a relationship that never worked out, or perhaps he did become a genuine victim of a love scam? Either way, if a man knows that love scams go on in the Philippines and he's looking for a Filipina, would he not be very careful to make sure he finds a genuine Filipina and keeps away from the non-genuine ones? And I know some guys will say that some Filipinas are so clever at hiding their true intentions, and I say that's total BS and a cop-out. Most of the women that do these love scams are rather basic in what they do, and they're very easy to spot a mile away. It really doesn't take a genius to work them out, and I've done many videos around signs or red flags that will identify such a woman rather quickly. And the fact of the matter is very simple. Many of these guys have been in too much of a hurry to find a Filipina because they may have been hurt in a previous relationship and they think getting a new girlfriend will ease their woes. While others may have been alone for some time and are rather lonely. So when these guys find a young, attractive Filipina is making a play for him, then he's very flattered and his ego gets a huge boost. But whatever the reason, the man here seems to quickly forget that these women could very possibly not be genuine. All he can see is a cute young woman, and this makes him feel young again himself, and perhaps he even thinks that he's still got it. And because of this, he stops even looking for the red flags and puts any idea of this out of his mind that she may very well not be genuinely wanting a relationship with him. And so he very quickly believes that he's in a relationship with this beautiful young Filipina, and before he knows it, he's sending money more frequently and the amount each time seems to be going up. She'll give him many stories that will make him feel compelled to help out this poor innocent woman who is in tears, which she will gladly accept. So what are the very simple and basic rules these guys have failed to maintain that has led them to this point? Firstly, they've failed to do research around Filipinas, their culture, and their country. Secondly, they've failed to learn about the various love scams and knowing the red flags that easily identify these women and then acting on those red flags. Far too many guys will notice the red flags but push them out of their mind because they're infatuated with this beautiful young Filipina who is saying all the right things to him, and he loves the feeling that brings. Thirdly, common sense should tell you never to send any money to a Filipina until you've met her in person. I hear stories of guys who have been chatting online to a Filipina for just a couple of months, or in some cases, just a few days, and they're already sending money. Simply, guys, that's totally crazy. As I always say, consider yourselves as chatmates until the time comes when you meet in person. Because the minute you have in your mind that she's your girlfriend, then that's the moment you feel like you need to protect, help, or provide for her. And of course, that obligation comes with a financial cost that many may regret later on. And remember to always take things slowly and make it clear that you're interested in getting to know her much better so you can see where things may go in the future. And know that any Filipina who wants to speed things up so you commit to her, or if she's quickly talking about marriage, then that's a huge red flag that simply can't be ignored. The same thing applies to any woman who gives you those heart-wrenching stories that make you feel like you need to offer help, or if she comes right out and asks for money, then that's another huge red flag, and you know it's time to say goodbye right there and then. These are just a few of the most basic things guys fail to do that will allow some Filipinas to take them for a ride and then complain that they've been scammed. People need to get real here. As I said at the outset of this video, I don't condone any woman for any reason trying to deliberately take from a man under false pretenses. But I do question just how many of those guys raced in recklessly and quickly into a relationship as opposed to being a victim of a love scam. But either way, it's the man's responsibility to ensure he takes his time to get to know for sure if she's in fact genuine or not. And that won't happen in a matter of a few days or even a few short months. And of course, no one's making the guy pay over his hard-earned cash. He's giving it willingly, and I'm sure at that time something in his gut is telling him not to do it. So yes, my belief is that in many instances, it's the guy's lack of care and common sense that has led him to losing out, and he only has himself to blame. But as I say, many of these guys don't like to take responsibility for the things that go wrong in their life, and so they blame the Filipina in this case. And of course, there are also the countless stories going around that many people hear about that are simply not true. But some people reading or hearing those stories may believe it 100% instead of questioning how this really happened. And I say to all you watching this video to start to question these stories rather than just accepting them as truth. And how many of these guys who relay such stories are doing so because they heard it from someone else rather than their own lived experiences? If you're interested in more information around Filipina love scams and how to spot the red flags, then check out the playlist on screen now. Thanks for watching, stay safe and take care.